This is Day of Doom, and you're listening to DJ Moose at Metal Moose Podcast.
It's always a classic when you hear that at the beginning of the show. Welcome to the Moose Pit Studios and Soundcheck. My name is Moose, coming to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And, man, a lot of people are always asking, man, where do you find all this music? I've got a lot of great partnerships with really cool companies, and one of those companies is DEWAR PR, and they just put out their new compilation. I thought, well, we'll just play the whole damn thing and say what we think about the bands. And this is not only just a thank you to the people over at DEWAR, but also to hopefully introduce you guys to some bands on DEWAR that you are not familiar with, or if you're not familiar with DEWAR at all, that's cool. This gives us a good chance. So Allfather, it does a really, really good little bit of, butt kissing on my end when you sound like a band that I like. We all have learned since we started doing Soundcheck that I love old Catatonia, that I love that kind of Doom era stuff. So that has nothing to do with what just happened with Allfather, but it does have a lot to do with Crowbar, and I'm a huge Crowbar fan. A lot of Crowbar influence going on there. Tune low, play slow, love it, good. It was extremely solid. I would totally wear the shirt. Allfather, nice way to kick off this show of the DEWAR comp. I don't even know if these are in order or not. I just kind of threw them in here. We see what happens. But we're going to play the whole comp for you. I'm going to review every band, just like I do every show. If you're new to the show, welcome to Soundcheck. I listened to the song for the very first time with you. You heard it just now. I did too. And now I'm going to tell you that I think that it was really good. Allfather, very Crowbar-ish. And I dig that. So we're going to do that with every song. I'm going to give you my opinion, and you'll know that I like the band or the song or whatever by saying that I'll wear your shirt, man. And I totally mean that. Allfather, if you guys want to send a shirt out, I will totally put the shirt on, take a picture, tell everybody about it. I'll wear the shirt. And it's just a way. I know that people are like, I can't believe you asked bands for shirts, man. But it helps promote. It helps promote the band. I'm pretty sure Allfather is from Canada. Probably not a lot of people in Oklahoma wearing Allfather t-shirts. And being a guy who does a show and a guy that people ask about metal all the time, when I'm wearing a shirt, they ask me, who is that? Are they good? Well, I don't wear crappy band shirts. So anyway, yeah. So I know that everybody's out there all up in arms. Can't believe you would do that. I know. I'm such a jerk. Anyway, coming up next, a band called Arriver on Soundcheck. Listen, man, text in your thoughts, your opinions, 424-666-7356. 24/7, the text line is open. We'd love to hear from you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just don't put those back on yet.
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
right, so back here in the Moose Pit studio, it's Moose with you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, doing the DEWAR 2017 Spring Comp. I think this is what this is. Pretty interesting there with Arriver. Kind of one of those, you don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know how to classify. I don't know how to classify that. But it was interesting. It kept me interested because there was so much intricacies and kind of strange things going on. The only thing that I really didn't like about it, it's not something that I probably I'd have to listen to that a lot before it became, like ingrained or I'd have to really study that and get into it. It just the tempo was a little stagnant to me. If it would have had maybe a key change or maybe a clean section or just something, it just kind of was the same all the way through. And there's nothing necessarily bad about that. I would wear the shirt, but it's one of those things I think you'd have to really study and get into before, it's not something you listen to that you're instantly just like, yeah, you're like, what? Wait, you know what I'm saying? So pretty cool. Thank God it's not another, cookie cutter death metal thing, because there's enough of that on the planet. Coming up next, a band called SENTAI. Hey, listen, thanks to wherever you're listening from and to all the bands that listen. I really appreciate when I get feedback from you after I review your stuff. It's helpful to me, and I appreciate the fact that you listen to my opinion, which is not really important, but it's what I try to do and have fun with. Anyway, SENTAI coming up next. I want to say that all these bands are Canadian bands. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel the maple syrup pumping through my heart as I say that. I don't really even know what that means, but it just Canada and syrup. It came to mind, maybe because I'm a moose. Anyway, yeah. So it's really important, though, to me. I hope that you guys agree with me that things sometimes are better with partners. So I'd love for you to get involved in the show. Text in your opinions, your thoughts, where you're listening from, a picture of you, eating Cheetos and wrapped in bacon. 424-666-7356. That's really cool. Also, want to announce that I just found out that I'm going to be added to the Pit Midwest Metal Spreaker station, the Pit family. Very, very cool. Apparently, I was an inspiration to them, so they are going to have me on their station, and that's I'm kind of honored by that. That's cool, man. So thanks to them, the Pit Midwest Metal, and all the stations playing the show, and you, if you're naked, especially. Here we go.
The moose is loose. This is Day of Doom, and you're listening to DJ Moose at Metal Moose Podcast.
I probably will play this way too many times in the show, but I just can't get over the fun little death growl there. So with SENTAI, I really like what's going on there. It was really unexpected. And the opening riff, I kind of thought, well, this is almost kind of glam rocky sounding, you know? And then the keyboards came in and things get a little bit muddy. And then the weird, like, kind of thing. And then the little, I was almost like, is this going to be an instrumental? I have no idea. And here we go. And then the vocals came in and just threw me on a complete left-hand turn. So it really needs to be defragmented a bunch. There, just the bass is way too high in the mix, I think. The keyboards are high in the mix. The vocals aren't high enough. And there's a lot of mud going on with the production value. But I think it's good enough with a poor production that with really good production, it would be stellar. So, and look, like I said, I know that not everybody has the money to have, Mike Klink behind the board or Peter Tostrigan or whatever, I get it. But I like what's going on there. I would wear the shirt. I like it. It's kind of like that. Wow, I don't want to make too many comparisons, but anyway, I like it. I love the way the vocal moved. I like how it started with that almost, like I said, glammy kind of butt rocky kind of riff, and then later on it changed into the a traditional metal riff, and that was good stuff. A lot of stuff. I think it needs more focus and better production, and it's really good as it is now, like I said. So it can only get better, hopefully, with time, and better studio time and all those kind of things. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I think you've got a good niche going on there. So coming up next is a band called Czar, and this song looks to be 23 to 20, about a minute plus. So I'm going to go with Grind, which if you are new to the show, I love to guess what bands sound like based on their name. This one I'm just going off the time here, because when you rock out, an epic tune of a minute or so, usually I'm going with the grind thing. So just throwing that out there. SAR, a little bit of grind, I'm guessing. Watch, it'll be a 1 minute doom track. Wait, just 100% feedback. I don't know. I'm always wrong when I guess, but we'll see what happens with Czar here off of the DEWAR 2017 sampler thing compilation here on Soundcheck with the Moose, and I love grind, so this is going to be great or bad, one of the two. So there will be no in between. It'll suck or it'll be awesome. So we'll find out coming up right now here on Soundcheck with Czar. All right, so just remind me if I ever decide to do drugs to listen to Czar, because that would be an awesome little trip to be on right there. Wow. So you get the whole jazz fusion, Frank Zappa-esque grind thing going on there, which is, kind of interesting. It's okay. It's hard for me to think of listening to, usually a grind band will have about 35 tracks on their album. It's unsettling and unnerving, and That's good because obviously that's what you're going for. My biggest suggestion would probably be a tambourine somewhere in there. That's the one thing that it would have gone up to an A plus with a tambourine. But without the tambourine, man, I do like the little underwater vocal thing. That was fun. Interesting. I'm going to hold off on the shirt right now because the people will think that I'm on drugs if I wear a Czar shirt. So it's good. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. It's a little, it needs a tambourine, like big time. So Czar, just keep what you're doing and try to lengthen that out to, 2.5 minutes. Go crazy, throw in a 3-minute deal there. Break the trend of the grind time signatures. Yeah. Okay. Coming up next is Dead Register with a song called Grave. I'm going to go with death metal, just straight death metal on this one. Dead Register with the title of a song like Grave. I mean, I don't know really what other direction you could go in. It could be melodic death metal. Could be blackened death. Could be cookie cutter. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, God, I hope not. But we'll find out. That's what we do here. We listen to it. We review it. We say what we think about it. And then we take your opinions on the whole deal. 424-666-7356. You text in and you say what you think about me, about the bands, about the show, about why rubber chickens were invented. It's a good question.
The Moose rocks New York. Rocks New York. chickens.
Yeah, wow, so lots to say there. That was really impressive. Kudos, big kudos on the use of almost depressive melody, almost like Devin Townsend-esque, the way you work your octaves in the tune. I would 100% pull the distortion off of the bass. I think it just makes it mucky. I could have a lot of fun with that song. And then also, whoever's playing rhythm in the verses, you got the junk, which is staccato pattern. But I would, just for fun, maybe try to go clean and break the chord into pieces to give it a little bit more, and use a really, really crisp, clean tone to work in context with the textures of this distorted guitar. There's a lot of really, really good stuff going on there. The vocal to me was probably the weakest part. And they're not even necessarily bad. They just didn't have the conviction that I needed with the music that was there. Really, some harmony in the vocal area would have been a big plus. I was really surprised because it just had that, the name, Dead Registered, blah, just really cool. I love the work on the emotions going there. I would be interested to hear more of your music. I think your vocal work needs to really bump up to be on the level that the music is. And I'm not trying to cut you down, man, because you're not a bad singer. I just, let's have some conviction, give it a little pepper off the top, So it just, it was good, man. I there's totally, I would wear the shirt. There's a lot going on there that I think can go in the right direction, for sure. Okay, Engraved Darkness with Ritualistic Sins. If this one isn't death metal, maybe it's black metal. Maybe it could go towards the black metal. I don't know, though, because usually black metals get that one word name, with a letter with the umlauts over it or something like that. Or this is kind of more of an old school death metal-y name. We'll see. Ritualistic Sins. It sounds kind of death metal, but it could go either way, black or death. It's one of the two. I'm telling you, it's going to be synth pop. I get.
Bros and Rubber Chickens.
Engraved Darkness here on Soundcheck. So, really, obviously worked on your guitar tone very, very close to the Blessed Are the Sick tone, which is an artwork in itself. I liked the vocal phrasing. You're doing a good. I think you can, if you work a little bit more on that, get more crisp on the end of your phrasing. But the vocal, because so much is just, and I'm just like, okay, anybody can do that. But if you look at guys like Corpse Grinder, and Dave Vincent too, who's really, really good at phrasing, you're doing a really good job. I think if you work a little bit more on the pronunciation of the last syllable of when you're doing your stuff, really impressive. I would wear the shirt, but I will say this, along with being super impressed with the guitar tone, which I think is unique, not necessarily unique, it's a sound that has kind of disappeared in the scene. I used to love it when, you can definitely tell when you're listening to an Entomb, Left Hand Path, and then you knew when you were listening to Trey, so I like the sound. It's good. I like to hear it back, but I thought the chromatic arpeggio and the soloing was unimaginative. Totally talented, hell, I can't do an arpeggio, but I've tried. I think that you obviously are thoughtful guitar players and have the skills. Do something with your solo, man, because it was just kind of, bring some of that, I don't know, bring some attack to it as opposed to a sweep, you know what I mean? So more attacking. So coming up next is Final Sign with Burn the Temple Down off of the DEWAR thing that we're doing on Soundcheck tonight. So we're going to check it out. Tell us what you think. And we'll see if I'll wear their shirt or not. You never know these days. Kids and their music.
The moose is loose. Rocks, Texas.
Yeah, so Final Sign, they're really good mix in that tune. Good hard bass, almost accept like driving, kind of a, I don't know that I would compare the vocal much to, Udo and accept more to kind of reminded me of like a Mandy Lion kind of vocal. I like the song. I really think that it was solid all the way through. My biggest issue was the guitar solo. I thought was just, dude, let it breathe a little bit. It was just way overkill. And, I'm kind of one of those people that totally believes that a guitar solo is a song within a song. And that was just, it seemed to me like I want to fit as many notes into these measures that I can. And it wasn't even tasteful. It was almost just rip shred, die bomb. I think that if you gave that a little bit more room to breathe and did more with less notes, that would be more stimulating to to like, I guess maybe not a musician or whatever. They're like, oh my God, that guy shreds, and you do shred. But to me, I really was looking for more. I was excited to get to the guitar solo, and then when I got there, I was like, why did we do that? So I don't know. That's just my personal preference and doesn't really mean anything. But other than that, I loved it. Hell yeah, I'd wear the shirt. Pretty damn good stuff right there. Coming up next is Flidius. Yeah, Flidai, Flidius. I don't know, something that I can't say. With a song called High Stakes. I have no idea what in the hell this is going to sound like. I have no clue. So we're going to check it out. Listen, once again, thanks so much for being here. Listen, we do this show twice a week. You can find it on iTunes, on YouTube, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on Mixcloud, even Pinterest. You can find it there. On over 50 radio stations worldwide. France, Italy, UK, United States. We're in all those places. So it's when we play a band's music on this show, we get heard by a lot of people. I think on WSNR, we were average about 17,000 a month on there. So we're played twice a week on Pure Rock Radio, Metal Mayhem Radio as well. It's endless, man. We're all over the damn place. And we're all over the place because of you guys, and we appreciate that. And what we do is we like to get bands a lot of exposure and try to get them some new fans. And, that's what we do. And then we try to have fun talking about, tacos and tacos. I love tacos.
The news says,
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
Flidius with a high stakes. So I'm listening to the song, and I'm really cool with just about everything. But in the first half of it, I was like, man, maybe they should drop their tuning a half step, because the vocalist sounds extremely strained. And then you got into the second half of the song, and it's like you started over. I don't know if you guys took a break and went outside and had a smoke or whatever, but you sounded more relaxed in the second half of the song. I thought that the interlude kind of riff thing was maybe a few measures too long, because it was really interesting in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I was like, oh, okay, let's do something. Guitar solo, super shred, very Michael Angelo Biadio, whatever the hell his name is from Nitro. But good melody. I like the effect. I liked the solo. It was nice. So my biggest issue is maybe it's a phrasing deal with the vocalist. Maybe going into your high notes, because you go from 0 to 20. Maybe if you could go 0 to 10 and then up a little bit, and it's kind of a fast paced song. So I'd like to hear you on a slower tune, to hear how you rise to your falsetto in your vocal, because it's good. It just sounded like you're getting your nuts squeezed, and I get that. That's super metal, Rob Halford, we all of us, we know what that means, but I wanted you to feel, I wanted to hear more relaxation, because it just sounded like rah! And anyways, I can't even get close to hitting that high, but that was cool stuff. And I want more of that kind of stuff, and because it was really cool, because it had that old vibe with the Priest-esque vocal, with kind of a newer, cool riffage, and like I said, the Michelangelo sounding solo deal. So yeah, man, I dig it. I'm in. I'm in. I would wear the shirt. Napalm Ted. I don't even have any. That sounds like the name of a bum in an alley. So, I have no idea. Yeah, I was in Vietnam, man. Will you open up my sack and grab my bagel for me? That's just what comes into my head. So, I don't know. Napalm Ted, we're going to check it out with a song called The Deadline, which this sucker is all of, what is this, another minute song? Well, in 30 seconds. Yeah, I think this is a minute and a half, something like that. So another epic tune of delightfulness. I'm going to go with Grind again. Just throwing that out there. It's a possibility. Napalm Ted on Soundcheck.
The voice says,
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens.
Kind of like everybody to kind of join hands, and it's not real often that I get kind of on a personal note like this, but sometimes it's obvious that somebody needs a hug, and Napalm Ted needs a hug. I think that we should all, like I said, kind of join hands and kind of have a group hug and just kind of hug out the anger and aggression going on in that song, because hugs can cure anger and aggression, and this is a time when we need to heal as a group. It's the deadline for a group hug is what it is. So that's a lot of fun. It was, sometimes, you get those minute songs that are just a pure blast of noise that actually had a little bit of texture to it. It had a good, exploited kind of anger thing going on. It was fun to me, which I like that. So I would wear the shirt. I think it was cool. It was more tongue in cheeky than the kind of grind we had earlier. But yeah, it was, the thing earlier was, total like, hey man, let's put like the water from the fish tank into the bong, and let's leave a fish in there and see if it makes it taste different, kind of a deal. This was more of a groovy kind of angry blast kind of a grind deal, which is fun as well. Next is a band called Nihilo or Nilio, one of the two, either one, or I could be completely wrong on both pronunciations, with a song called Death Swamp, which I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not, but Donald Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, so which, has nothing to do with what we're talking about whatsoever, but it just made me think of the Orange Man and his funny hair. So yeah, we're going to play this and we'll check it out. Hope you guys are having a good time. We are just about halfway through the show. We got 2 hours and we're just at an hour and 4 minutes. So keep it buckled up there, Buttercup. We got a long way to go, a lot more music to go, a lot more sound checks. So we're having a good time. I'm having a good time drinking. Tonight we're going with the grape Kool-Aid in the Fuzzy's Taco Cup. Yeah, it happens sometimes. But normally I'm a cherry Kool-Aid or a lemonade kind of guy, or a cherry lemonade mix, which is also very special in its own way. So, but tonight it's very cool. I guess the northeastern United States got hammered with a blizzard today. It's like 40 something here. So I'm doing okay, but it could be a whole lot worse, but cooler than normal. So in the studio. So yeah, we're rocking it out on Soundcheck. Like I said, make sure and find us on Facebook and Twitter and iTunes and YouTube and all that stuff, because we're there. Instagram as well. So yeah, man, we're gonna have a blast with this one. Nihilio, Death Swamp.
You know that? You realize that? I'm coming across like a nice guy. Because I'm the furthest thing from a nice guy. I am what you call a person's nightmare. Because of the way I project myself, people think they can get by. And then all of a sudden, when they wake up, it's too late. They already hit the stop sign. And that's a dead stop.
Yeah, so, you always hope for the best when you start these shows out. And I think I've gone, 50, 75% of the way. I'm a little past 50% when we ran into that piece of work. So, and always remember that it's just me, and my opinion doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's just kind of the entertainment part of the show. But the most interesting things about that song to me were the frog in the beginning and then the little movie quote at the end. The musical part of it was just not anything that I would be interested in whatsoever. I think it's been done a lot. It wasn't done at a good level. The production was iffy. It was just okay. I would not be like, hey, man, you guys should check out Nihilio or whatever it's called. It just, sorry, man, that for me that's a no on that. So, yeah, but, maybe your fans will write me hate mail. That could happen. But for me, just didn't really work out. It was kind of pseudo. See how I did that? Coming up next, we got Pseudo off of the DEWAR comp. Interesting name. So I always think, and Pseudo SENTAI is actually their name. Ooh, that's even more fun. Pseudo SENTAI with a werewolf Casey. Okay, everything about that is completely intriguing to me. So with Pseudo SENTAI and werewolf Casey, very interesting. But see, here's the deal though. When you have an interesting and things that are intrigue me, I expect a lot out of you. So I have no clue what the hell this could sound like. But Pseudo SENTAI with a werewolf Casey is very intriguing to me. So we're going to check it out. Listen, this is Soundcheck coming to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, from the Moose Pit Studios here in the heart of Oklahoma City. So we do this. We've been doing it for years, and actually we've been doing the Soundcheck since January. So we're like 3 months old, but we did the Metal Moose radio show before that. We started in 2014 and still going strong, getting bigger every day. More people joining the Moose crew and joining the Soundcheck page on Facebook. And we started at 0, and I did it that way on purpose. I could have invited all the Metal Moose people over, but I thought, nah, we'll just let it be organic and grow on its own. And it's growing pretty quickly. So I'm going to cough. We're having a good time with that. I appreciate you guys being here. Pseudo SENTAI with the werewolf Casey. I'm truly intrigued. I can't wait to hear this one. It'd be a fun shirt to wear, even if I don't like it, because it's a fun thing to say. Pseudo SENTAI. Hiya! Right? I don't know. It sounds Asian. So pseudo Sentai. So let me tell you what that is. Okay, that is a group of musicians who are so incredibly talented that they are bored with the normal phrasing and normal way music is put together, and they are just toying with us. And it is incredibly interesting. I had several different, emotions and fortes of wow. So here's the deal on that. I love it. I would wear the shirt. I think that you've got guys like me that are, quasi musicians who are like, oh my God, that was amazing, because I could never do that. And then you've got the sheeple of the planet who are like, that was a bunch of noise and it didn't make any sense to me. And then you have, good musicians like yourselves that get it. So I think that your audience is kind of limited. But I can tell you that was highly intelligent people making a soundscape is the way I put that. So I dig it. I think it is interesting. And like I was saying before the song, it's intriguing. It stayed intriguing in the song. It kept me wanting to listen. What's going to happen next? Where are they going? There's a lot of scenery flying through here. Nice. And I don't get to say that a lot on this show. So, but yeah, that it was a work. It was an actual work of music as opposed to other thing. Anyway, so I liked it. It was cool, man. I like to hang out with you guys at a tea house and like listen to poetry sometime. Because, yeah. Anyway, so coming up, that was really good. I would wear the shirt. Siderian with Lizard Method State. Now I will say that I'm a big fan of Saigon Kicks, the Lizard album, and the Lizard King. Jim Morrison. And the Geico Lizard, also big fans of all three of them. So, yeah, I could be a fan of this just based on the word lizard. I have no idea. Siderian sounds kind of like a hard rock kind of name, not really a metal deal. So I'm going to go with just good driving hard rock. It's going to be my guess, and I promise you that I'm wrong. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. So, yeah, Siderian here on Soundcheck with the Moose coming to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's true. Way down here in the middle of the United States. I'm doing this right now. right, so for those of you who listen to the show and know the show, you know that every show I pick my favorite song, band for the show. And I'm actually kind of behind because I still need to make a road case for Deception and Black Army Jacket. Maybe I'll do that when I get done in the studio tonight. So far, Sidereal was the most complete package to me. Good production, good songwriting, good riffing, good aggression, nicely packaged. It was well done. Right now in the top spot for pick of the show for me. It was nice, man. It was good. Is there a whole lot original about it? No. Is there anything that was just outstanding that made it different than anything? No, not really. But it was really well done. It was believable. And what that means is I feel like that they were putting themselves into the music. It was well written. It wasn't sloppy. It was they kind of walked in like a boss and took it and grabbed it by the horns and kicked it. So I'm a fan of that. That was good stuff. I'm right now Siderian winning the pick of the show contest. But man, who the hell knows? Things could change on the next song. This next band is called The Glorious Rebellion. I'll leave that title to them, and you can write them and ask them if you want to, because, you know, I'm not one to be worried about offending anybody. I'm really not. But on the other hand, I don't want to be known as, because I said something that might be offensive or rebellious per se. So anyway, it's got a very interesting title, and so we're going to check it out. I actually had this song for the Metal Moose, but I'm not sure if I ever played it or not, but we're going to play it now. And we're going to see what we think. Glorious Rebellion, to me, once again, kind of sounds like a hard rock name. You know, it doesn't sound metal to me, but it just, I kind of see that Harley Davidson kind of logo going on for this. It just says hard rock instead of metal to me, which is cool, because I wish we got more quote unquote hard rock bands that were interested in taking part of this, but the word metal just scares the crap out of everybody. So I get it. I know it's scary. We're big, scary people, us metalers. But metaler, is that a real word? I don't know if that's a word or not. Starting to lose my voice. It happens just about every show, because in my real life, I don't talk a whole lot. So when I come on here and I talk for, an hour and 20 minutes, which is a lot of talking for me. So, there are only 3-minute segments when I talk, 3 minutes between each song, and still I lose my damn voice. Thank God I don't speak for a living. It'd be cool if I could speak for a living, but I don't. If I did, I'd have to get a voice double, which that'd be cool. I'd name him, I don't know, Amigo or something. Hey, Amigo, go cut my tracks for me. No point. Anyway, Corners of Sanctuary too, right here.
Hey, this is Mick Michaels from Corners of Sanctuary, and you're listening to DJ Moose at Metal Moose Podcast.
And I'm sick of it, there's only the blisters to blame. Precision is fickle when the silence kicks in, and I'll be damned if you'll remember your name. We lack mercy when the lights shine down. The armchair critics want blood. Make it pass from the gutter to the emperor's chamber. Tracks in it up a lot of mud. I'm going straight to hell. 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 magic happens. And this is where the empires die. And this is where it ain't who you know, it's how much you're willing to lie. I don't need your sympathy. I want a hard thought getting fucked. Swallow that thought, 'cause I don't need to hear about how bad my life is sucked. I'm going straight to hell. I'm going straight to hell. I'm going straight to hell. I'm going straight to hell.
And that, my friends, is some straight Pabst Blue Ribbon, old Milwaukee, throw your fist in the air, hard thumping rock and roll. You know, you all want to get up and scream, I'm going straight to hell. Pretty damn good. A lot of fun, arena rock kind of stuff. I like it, man. I think it's I love the name of the band, Glorious Rebellion. Yeah, so I like it. I would wear that shirt. It needs some sort of a maybe rebel flag on it with a skull, kind of a, you know, in a some sort of a Jack Daniels bottle kind of a deal. Yes, that's good whiskey soaked fun stuff right there. So yeah, I need to send that over to Jenny Jenkins. She would like the hell out of that. So yeah, man. So we're blowing through now. We're about an hour and a half into the show, almost an hour and 40 minutes. And once again, I'm glad to have you guys here. My name is Moose, by the way. This is what I do. I play music and I talk about it and I put it on a podcast, and then people listen and radio stations play it. And yeah, there's not a whole lot of glory in it. It's just, I love, you know, music, and I like to talk about it. And for the longest time, I did a radio show where I just talked about stupid stuff, and you can go back and listen to all the Metal Moose shows at www.themetalmoose.com or on YouTube. They're all there still, but I kind of changed directions, and because everybody was always asking, Moose, what do you think about the music, man? And I was just like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But I finally got tired of people asking, so I said, okay, I'm gonna do the show where I tell people what I think about their music. So that's kind of what you got now with this whole Soundcheck thing. So hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're having a good time. Thank you for inviting me into your home or on your phone or in your car. I love it when people listen to it in their car. That's my favorite. Put it on your phone, on iTunes, and just hook it up to your stereo and blast it out, because people around are getting to hear the cool ass music you're listening to. And then all of a sudden you're the music guru because you've got all these metal bands that no one's ever heard of before. And you're like, yeah, I'm the metal guru. Damn right. You don't even have to tell them it's me. You can just say it's you on. That's me talking on the podcast. Yeah, that's my podcast, I think. Anyway, so yeah, man, thanks so much for, I'm all about family here. I've always said that. I always say, if you listen to the show, even if you don't like me that much, you're still family. And Mike, and there are a lot of people that don't like me, but I'm going to shake your hand like a man. We're going to talk about metal. We're going to have fun, talking about tacos and, a beer or multiple beers. It's kind of what we do. And by the way, just real quickly, there are a lot of people who, just because of the name of the show, the Metal Moose or whatever, they think that I'm Canadian. I'm actually not Canadian. I do love Canada and think the best metal scene in the world, but I'm not Canadian. I live in Oklahoma. So if the accent doesn't give it away, because I don't say a boot ever, except for just then I said it, but I don't really say it. You know, I even myself don't understand it. It doesn't make any, it's not sensical in any way, shape, or form. Because I like crowbar and I like corrosion of conformity and I like down and I like those kind of things, but I don't like the whole clutch sound. And to me, that's what was going on there with Volunteer. It was clutch-esque, and it just, for some reason, it just, I don't know. For some reason, when that switch gets turned onto my head, that it's clutch-esque, I stopped caring. It just didn't, I don't know why. It's not fair to Clutch and bands that sound like Clutch, but for me, it's just not. Now, and I understand that I'm in the vast minority there, because most rockers and even people that aren't into metal dig Clutch, you know what I mean? You know, and then some people are like, how can you like Mastodon? You know, they have such a, nah, that's the whole different thing to me, but anyway, so, it's just not for me. Volunteer, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be neck deep in hot women and money and tours and cool stuff. Don't listen to me at all, but it's just not my preference. Coming up next, real quick, I'd like to tell the story because the name of this band reminds me of the story. I have a weird obsession with things like moose and buffalo and yaks. So there was a band, I don't know if they're still together or not, a band called Yak, and they were really, really good. I liked them. So I sent them money for a t-shirt, and I never got it. To this day, I don't have my Yak shirt, but even my kids know about the Yak shirt because I was so like, where the hell's my shirt? I want my Yak shirt. So, you know, like my 9-year-old daughter's like, where the hell's the Yak shirt? You know, so it's the big thing around here because the Yak shirt, it never came. Kind of sad about that because I like Yak, but I want to wear a shirt that says Yak. This next band is called Yeti on a Horseback, which it's a Yeti, so I'm a fan. But I'm very curious because it's called the Tree of Death, and it's Yeti on a Horseback. I have no clue what to expect. It's a great name, and so we're going to check it out on the Soundcheck here. And Yak, if you're listening, I would love a shirt. I paid for it, and I would just like to receive it so that I can wear it. I've spent more money on band shirts. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Yeti on a Horseback, here you go. And maybe I'll get a shirt from you. I don't know. I don't know if Yak is even together anymore. What a great band name, though. Yak. I think there's a band called Grizzly, too. Like Grizzly Bear. That's awesome. Here we go. Yeti on a Horseback.
This is Dave from Toxic Ruin, and you're listening to The Moose.
do you not love that? How do you, the whole Twin Peaks intro kind of thing there, play it, tune low, play slow, great. It just sounded, what is the word I'm looking for? Just, the vocals were desperate. It was painful. I love that kind of stuff. That was really good. So yeah, who wouldn't wear a T-shirt that said Yeti on a horseback? That makes you cool like instantly. So, all right, guys, listen, man, it was fun going over this comp. I've never done this before, so I don't know if I'll do it again or not. But I guess if you have a label and you want me to do your comp, contact me and I'll do it. Whatever, or a PR or whoever you are. If you get a comp and you want me to do a sound check on it, just contact me on Facebook and we'll get it done. It was interesting. It was an interesting night. So, some extraordinary bands, some really good different genres in there, a little bit of something for everybody, I think. And good stuff. So, I want to thank Tornado Tattoo here in Oklahoma City for being a proud supporter of the Metal Moose. They don't pay me, but, we work together, and Josh and Clayton are great people over there. Also my chiropractor, a lot of people crack up when I say that, but you know what, when you headbang for a lot of years and you get a little bit older in age, like I am, chiropractors are, great help. And he's an awesome dude, and he takes care of me and my whole family. Dr. French at Live Well Chiropractic here in Oklahoma City. Look him up, man. Just tell him you heard about him on the Moose, cause you headbang a lot. You need a chiropractor. Trust me. And by the way, not kidding, not trying to oversell this or anything, but if you're a guitar player, you have a chiropractor work on your hands and your wrist. It's a beautiful thing. Trust me. Just read about it. It's a real deal. A lot of guitar players have people massaging and working on their bones in their hands and their wrist all the time. So, thanks to everybody, Hellion Social Media, the Musicians Rock Network, Teresa Bond and Jenny Jenkins and all the people that are helping me to push this thing. The people over, Gail at Death Wish, thank you. Just awesome amounts of people that are doing this for no good reason. Just Valerie, of course, Valerie Andre, Becca, thank you. I'd love to hear from you. Everybody out there doing this, and the Pit Midwest Metal going to be on that network soon too. So really, really proud of everybody for working with me on this and having a good time. And we have a whole different set of standards here, man. We're not interested in putting people down and talking about boobs and weed and booze all the time, which is nothing wrong with any of those things, but it's just we try to keep it a little bit different here and support each other. Even if I think a band sucks, I try to be nice anyway. Be good, wake up, be kind, kick ass, repeat. See ya!
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.